on behalf of all the conference, we would like to welcome Ruslan as our keynote speaker. Ruslan uh, brings 23 years of quality assurance, quality control, process improvement, and software testing experience. I personally following him since 2-3 years on LinkedIn. Very much interesting talks and discussions we have. So everyone knows him, and Ruslan would be speaking on quality metrics and KPI, key performance indicators, and how can you benefit from them. Yes, these are much very much important in our projects and day-to-day deliverables. So welcome, Ruslan. We can you can get to know more about him and his interview. You can see on the below URL. So now I'm handing over to Ruslan for the further first keynote. Welcome, Ruslan. I'm just unsharing my screen.
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting once again. Do you guys see my screen or not yet? Let me just start presenting.
Not yet.
How about now?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No. Yes, we can see it now.
Yes, we can see it now.
You guys can see it. Fantastic. So how many minutes do I have? Just trying to fit within the allowable time, because this topic is pretty big and I don't want to be running late. Is it 30 minutes, guys? Or?
Yes, Ruslan, it is 30 minutes, all inclusive.
30 minutes. Fantastic. Okay, let's start. So today we're going to talk about quality metrics and KPIs. Obviously, there's many KPIs out there, but we're going to talk specifically about just a couple because we're going to run out of time. I'm going to show you actually more than 40, but we're going to concentrate around a couple of them. So my name is Ruslan Desyatnikov. For those of you who do not know me, I'm a founder and CEO of QA Mentor. You guys can look me up and connect on LinkedIn, and any questions, any questions after the presentation, feel free to ask me, and I'm gladly will reply. So let's start. My favorite interview question is, which I'm interviewing on a daily basis, always, at least 3 candidates throughout a week, and my favorite question is, and some of you who get a chance to be interviewed by me probably knows, the question is, how do you measure your quality success? So anybody would like to answer this question?
Guys, you can just unmute and say, maybe. I think that would be fine.
Yeah, hi Ruslan, this is Shweta Sharma and I work for Accelerant Technologies. So
nice
recently, yeah, it's a pleasure, talking to you and being a witness of your presentation. So recently, what we've been doing at Accelerant is we have generating these quality health reports, which is a combination of various factors. And we have various parameters already defined, and there is this audit that happens from sprint to sprint. And of course, the parameters can vary from project to project depending on what the team capacity is, capability is. Well, the idea really is to be better than what you were in the previous sprint. It doesn't necessarily have to always be correcting your mistakes. It could also mean optimizing the test efforts and releasing faster. And so we have this several parameters, and it was largely influenced by the Atlassian's quality health report.
Wonderful, wonderful. But how do you personally measure your success? How would you say that, I'm doing a good job, I'm doing a great job? How does it convert into something which you can, prove that you're doing a fantastic job?
Is it are you talking about an individual? Are you just talking
about?
Yeah,
I'm talking about the individual, you specifically. So let's say I'm interviewing you and asking you this question. How do you measure your quality success? your personal quality success to a product or to a project, to a release, to a user story, to a sprint?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I have been working on role-based or level-based KPIs also. As of now, we have general KPIs for all the individuals, like be it developer, tester, everyone, right? We have something called as a customer promoter score. So NPS is one of our major KPIs that promotes our team to work as a team. Second, we also have other KPIs which are not directly related to quality, but they are directed to they are mostly related to growth, which is writing blogs. Knowledge sharing is one of our KPIs. And yeah, but I'm working on this role based KPIs, which is like, for example, if I have a QA engineer at level 1 and if I have a QA engineer at level 4, I want both of them to have different KPIs and not the same ones. That is something I'm working on. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Very good. So I will, I will share what people are answering. Unfortunately, it's a tough question. Not everybody, able to answer this question. And it's very interesting for me, when people get a little bit confused. They said, well, it's attributed that, I'm performing very well, identifying defects, creating test cases, but what is the metrics? What is the sort of a KPI behind that success? How can you attribute your success or convert this fruits of your work into something which can be measurable and demonstratable, right? So another question would be, I'm asking a QA manager, how do you measure your team quality success, right? How do you know that your team is doing a great job on the release, right? Those are very, very common questions, which, I personally like to ask, anybody on the call. Somebody have questions or? No, I thought somebody asking questions. So why are we here today? We're here today to understand how metrics are important and crucial. Every decisions which we make in QA Mentor based on metrics and some kind of information behind. It's very important, it's very crucial. We'll talk about, what my personal number one favorite metric is. We'll talk about test efficiency indicator and how to measure it, because I face that not many people understand how to do it the right way. People can do it, but it's not 100% accurate measurement. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how to calculate the defect leakage, again, the proper way, because I'm very surprised that, again, whoever I talk to or interview, or even, various of different companies, some clients which we support, they not measuring defect leakage the proper way. And that's something which I wanted to show and demonstrate to you guys, so you would be able, you're going to get something meaningful from this lecture, from this session, and you can go back to your teams and start measuring those couple key KPIs which we're going to discuss. Can the number lies? We will try to answer this question. Can metrics fight injustice? We'll figure out, and I'll show you an interesting case study, which you guys will make a decision, and then we'll try to address some of the questions. I know, again, time is running pretty quickly. So why metrics are important? As I mentioned before, we measuring metrics across the board, across the software development lifecycle, and there's different categories, different types of metrics. Again, we cannot cover all the areas and different categories of metrics. We're going to choose just a couple of them because I think they are very crucial and very important, and will help you out to understand how do you measure your quality success on the deliverables, how the if the IT is delivering the product or release or sprint, how it's sort of converts into the fruits of your work. What does it mean be successful in terms of the quality on the project, right? So let's go directly. I would like to go directly into one spreadsheet here. Now, this is different types of metrics, right? I specifically choose only 40, but we have over 120 metrics which we're measuring across the board, right? I'm showing just some of them. We try to sort of categorize them and come up with the top metrics which we frequently using. Now, don't worry about those metrics because it's not going to take it's going to take hours and hours to go over and truly understand them. But what I wanted to concentrate is a couple metrics, right? So the first metrics is the test execution efficiency, right? Metrics. Now, who understand what is this metrics is all about and why it's so crucial and why every tester should know and should understand how to measure test execution efficiency properly? Any guesses? Any tries? So let me help you out. I'm pretty sure you guys know this. You're just shy or wanted to hear my version of it. So let's discuss about the test execution efficiency. So basically,
Hey Ruslan, sorry to interrupt you, but then we are seeing your PPT screen and not the Excel sheet.
oh, I'm
Probably
sorry.
yeah.
Thank you so much for letting me know. I apologize. I don't know why it's not showing. Let me just try to do this one second.
Ruslan, maybe you'll have to share your entire screen. I think for now only the presentation is shared.
Sure. Let me.
Your entire desktop, or you can unshare and then reshare again.
How about now? Let me see. Do you guys see right now or no?
Yeah, we
Yes,
are able to see
it's
select
visible now.
applicable metrics.
Okay,
pop-up. Yeah.
so you didn't see what I was showing you those metrics before, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now
I
it's visible.
apologize.
Pop-up.
Sorry about that. I thought I was sharing, but those are again around 40 metrics. Let's not go over them today. We're gonna have more sessions in the future, and we're gonna cover them. But let's concentrate around the test execution efficiency metrics, right? You can see my screen here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So test execution efficiency, extremely important metrics, which allows us to measure efficiency of our testing. And the efficiency of our testing is based on the test case coverage, right? How effective we can discover issues and problems when we create the test cases and accomplish sufficient coverage across the board, right? So that test execution efficiency. So how we measuring test execution efficiency, right? Test execution efficiency and defect leakage are very closely related to each other, and that's the reason where I wanted to explain how to measure this the proper way. Just one second. Close this. You guys can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So in order to measure it, this is extremely important. This is where the mistakes are, right? So when we
Guys, request you to keep yourself on mute. Ruslan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I thought there is a question. So in order to calculate the test efficiency indicator, we need to figure out first and define various of different rankings, right? So for instance, if you miss a critical defect, you have to be penalized higher than if you would miss a low severity defect. You would agree with that, right? But many people, unfortunately, when they come to a calculated factor of defect leakage, they said, well, I missed a defect during the testing, and regardless of severity of this defect, I will calculate the defect leakage. That's not a correct calculation. And I see this across the board. Probably 85% of the organizations which we talk to or involved in, and we have over 400 clients, 85% do not calculate defect leakage the proper way or test efficiency indicator the proper way. And that's the biggest mistake. So, and I'll show you how it's really calculates and how the formula works, but we gotta define the rankings, right? And we got to attribute. So critical defects will get 4 points, penalty of 4 points, serious defects is 3 points, medium is 2 points, low is 1, right? You would agree, you know, the lower the defect, you should get less penalties or be less penalized in terms of the calculation, right? So what do we do typically when somebody is asking, so what is your success? You know, how you attribute to successful release, right? So the defect leakage is one of the very important KPIs, right? And the defect leakage measures ability to deliver successful release to your internal customers and clients when we talk about the UAT, user acceptance testing, and we can measure against production environments. So we can measure defect leakage against UAT, defect leakage against production environments, right? We all agree, because for us, for everybody, it should be when we're releasing something to user acceptance testing, this should be a production ready code, right? So we should treat completion of the release during the system testing or system integration testing as a production release. So that's the reason why we have to measure a defect leakage. And same goes to production, right? Against the production environment, we want to make sure there is no defects which are leaked, right? So the formulas to calculate is based on this. So defects during the testing or system integration testing or system acceptance testing divided by defects in system acceptance testing plus defects in UAT multiplying by 100, right? That's where we're gonna get the true test efficiencies based on the defects which were identified during the testing and the missed during the UAT or production testing cycles, right? So here's a very quick examples. You know, we said that, you know, during the UAT, business testers reported 1 critical, 1 serious, 2 medium, and 5 low defects. The testing team should have identified these defects during the system acceptance testing. The defects that were not reproducible in test environment, but only in UAT environment should not be considered. So during the testing team actually reported 10 critical, 5 serious, 10 medium, and 10 low, right? So as you can see during the UAT, there were some misses. So how you convert those misses, how you can actually calculate something meaningful, which will show reflection of the fruits of your work, collectively as a team or individually. If you assign to a particular module, user story, how can you measure your success, your testing success? So that's the formulas, okay? Let's just give a very quick example right here, okay? So remember I said we have a weight of defects, which is ranking, right? Critical 4 points, high 3 points, medium 2 points, low 1 point. Let's say, for example, okay, during the testing, quality assurance testing team testing the release, okay? Now, we tested, we find 1 defect, critical defects, for example. During the UAT, right, customers identify or business testers or whoever is conducting the UAT identify another defect. Do you see? Do you agree that it's 50%, right? Because we missed 1 critical defect, we identify 1 critical defect. So it's 50% test execution efficiency. Our efficiency is only 50%. Or from 100, we subtracting 50%, and that will give us 50% of defect leakage into the UAT. 50% defect leakage, very, very bad number. Horrible number, actually, right? But I want to stress very important aspects here. So look at this. If users, or we can treat this section here as a user acceptance testing or maybe production, right? Clients finding it. But let's concentrate just on the user acceptance testing. Look, if we put 1 defect as a low here, okay? We put 1 defect here as a low, and let's remove critical defect, okay? Look at this. Now, you miss 1 here, you find 1 here, but because of the rankings, your test execution efficiency increases. You're much more effective. You still miss it. And what is the defect leakage here, guys? What would be the defect leakage? In terms of the UAT, remember I said 100 minus 80. That will be 20% defect leakage. Still pretty bad number, right? Pretty bad number. But better than 50%. So this is how important it is to weight and have the weight associated with the critical defects, high defects, medium defects, and low defects, right? So let's put some other numbers here, just random numbers, right? Now, because of the low number of defects identified during the user acceptance testing, the test efficiency is increasing. The goal is to achieve 100% test efficiency, which here 100% minus 99.39% is less than 1% defect leakage, right? This number is pretty good number. Now, we at QA Mentor and anywhere I worked before QA Mentor, we try to achieve the maximum defect leakage of 3%. 3%, meaning that 3% of the defects, we, while testing, guarantee, this is our sort of SLA, service level agreement, which allowed to be identified during the UAT or during the production. Obviously, you cannot guarantee that there's zero defect leakage. It's just not possible, as you all know. There are always defects, but you always should, strive to get, 0% defect leakage. It's just not possible to achieve. I mean, it can be achieved on the smaller releases where you have just a couple UI changes, maybe, yes, but when we're talking about big major releases. Okay, so any questions, guys, relating to how to calculate it before I go, because we're running a little, we have another 10 minutes only. Any questions?
So, hi. What should be the standard percentage of the escaping defect? 3%? Can we?
What is what? I'm sorry, can you repeat this again?
What should be the standard escaping defect percentage? 0, as you mentioned, is not feasible. Correct. For major release. So, what should be the standard one?
Right. So the standard one, again, usually according to the industry standard, if you will have 5% defect leakage into production, it's considered to be okay. It's like grade in school, right? I don't know, in the United States in college we have 100% grading, right? So anything above 90%, which is 10% defect leakage, 90% efficiency, that's A minus, right? Anything above 95%, that's A you'll get. So in theory, 5% defect leakage, it's considered to be a pretty good job on the project. What we trying to do as a quality assurance testing services providers, we trying to, and that's included in our SLA, service level agreement, we tend to put only maximum 3% defect leakage. Anything above 3% defect leakage, we will pay penalties. It's put in the contract. We pay penalties, right? And that's how we measure our success. That's how we measure our goals and objectives for every individual employee, right? We have to maintain and achieve the maximum 3% defect leakage, right? 1%, 2%, anything, below that would be extra credit, right? But that's, the levels. At least 5% for all of you guys, it's considered to be okay. Anything above 10% defect leakage, not so great. Okay, not so great. Not a great release, not a great quality. Okay, so those are the benchmarks.
Thanks, Ruslan.
So let me show you interesting thing. We have only 6 minutes here. So a couple years ago, one company, big financial company, hired us as a QA audit process improvement services, and they said, Ruslan, we have a problem. We have the inefficient SAT team. SAT team in a bank, over 60 testers, big team. UAT team, another 50 testers, which is very interesting. Usually there are much less testers in UAT than in SAT. Here's almost equally the same. Now, the problem was in UAT testers identifying lots of defects, a lot of defects. And senior director wanted to understand what is the problem, why there's so many misses, such a high defect leakage happening. Right? So,
Guys, please
you guys mute yourself. Yes, please. So So this is very interesting thing. So let's look at this situation. So they have this release 7, okay? What we did, we measure. We wanted to measure. We went to Quality Center. They have the Quality Center ALM software. We look and we basically take the defects which were identified during the system testing, and we plug this in based on the severity levels. You see, we plug this in. Now, we went to the UAT because this is after the fact. This is when the project went live. Now, imagine this for the senior management. You're looking at 158 defects. Imagine that. And senior management say, I don't understand. System testing was complete and UAT started and there's 158 defects. That's horrible, right? I mean, anybody would say that's horrible. And look at the numbers just here, 66.51.5%. Now, this is efficiency. Remember, 100% minus 51, we're getting to 33%, 33.5%. Defect leakage, 33.5%. Imagine how bad it is. It's horrible. So we said, well, let's not make a conclusions. What I said we're gonna do, we're gonna drill down, and I'll show you what does it mean drill down, okay? Because numbers usually never lies, but they can lie if you let them lie, okay? So watch this. We said, guys, out of those defects, there gotta be some invalid defects. And what does it mean, invalid defects? We gotta strip those invalid defects, right? So what does it mean, invalid defects? Invalid defects are defects which were rejected, defects which were duplicates, enhancements, recommendations, suggestions, and improvements, right? Those are not defects. Those are enhancements. They cannot be categorized and be part of the defects, right? You agree? Because they're not problems with the functionality, right? They are suggestions and recommendations how to improve the system. So they got to be isolated. It's not a defect. We should not blame developers for those types of issues because they're not true defects. So look at this. When we strip them out from this, we got 263. Let me go back from 320 to 263. Now look at this, 110, previously 158, right? Now look at this test efficiency indicator and defect leakage. So this is close to 31%. Still bad, 31%. But now we said we stripped everything, right? Now we said, well, let's see, is it fair to conclude this? No, it's not fair, and I'll tell you why it's not fair. Now, there's deployments error, there's environmental errors, right? But why would system testing team be penalized if somebody deploying improperly into the UAT? If the environment is not stable in UAT, it has nothing to do with the code base, right? It has only something to do with the environment. So why would SAT team be penalized for that? So I said, let's wait, okay? Let's concentrate on code-related errors, right? Because code-related errors, we can strip the rest of the things. So code-related errors will be development error, design error, interface error. When we only selected those defects, look at these numbers, right? So the test efficiency got better and the defect leakage got less, because what has happened is now 63 defects we attributed towards root cause, which is attributed to the development error. And that's still a big number. You would agree 63 code related issues was missed during the testing. Now we said, this is not over. Game is not over. Let's review every single defect out of the 63 defects in order to come up with the root cause analysis, why those defects were there, whether they truly missed or not. So what we did was we went through every single defect to understand and to analyze, right? If it was really missed by the testing team or we're not accepting for the reason. It shouldn't be fair to tell that they missed it, right? So what has happened is now out of 63 defects, after this work, we identified that only 31 defects are attributed to a true miss, which we could have reproduced those defects during the system testing in the test environments, 31 defects. Now, 0 of them were critical. Okay, 0 of them were critical. Now look at this test efficiency indicator, 87%. Yeah, I know we run out of time. So this is basically, guys, how you need to analyze, and you see the different numbers. The numbers started from 66, 51%, and they went to 87%. So the complete picture is totally different. The management was shocked to see, well, this is not a bad number. I mean, 13% defect leakage, still not so great, but comparing to 33%, it's much, much better. So thank you so much, guys. Once again, you know, this is the way how to measure test efficiency indicators, defect leakages. This is the proper way. This is the only way, and this is the correct way. Otherwise, if you will use different formulas, different things, it's not going to be correct. Okay, you gotta have the weightage, you know, when it comes to different severity levels, and put this into the equation. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Ruslan, for this insightful session. We have lots of questions on Slido. We will share with you in an Excel sheet so that you can answer it. Then we can post it and send it to the people. In interest of time, we cannot take the questions right now. We will share this list with you so that you can answer it. Then probably we can post on LinkedIn and other platforms.
Absolutely, anytime, guys, and whoever interested, you can request this spreadsheet. I will send you the spreadsheet how to calculate test efficiency indicators, so you guys can immediately apply to your organizations and start using it and calculating the right way. The more people know and understand how to do it, the better quality will be, and you will be measuring this every time. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciated your time. Take care. All the best.
Thank you so much, Ruslan, for this insightful session.